If you think illegal on a boat means bricks of drugs and pirates, you're missing the real trap. In 2025, the stuff that gets normal boatery in trouble is boring. It's a date stamp you never checked. It's one cheap valve that worked fine. It's a battery upgrade that your insurer quietly hates. It's the kind of thing you don't notice until a boarding officer does. And here's the shift. For years, the vibe was education first. Now it's show me the label, show me the date, show me the standard. Enforcement got sharper because fires, pollution, and invasive pests are expensive, and the paperwork is easy for them and painful for you. So today, I'm counting down 10 common items that can be illegal to possess, operate, or carry on a boat in 2025, depending on where you are. I'll keep this practical: what it is, why it's a problem, how people get caught, and what to do instead. Reality check. Laws vary by country, state, and local jurisdiction, and marinas can add rules in your slip contract. Think of this as your red flag list. If any of these are on your boat, you don't argue with the internet. You verify for your location before you cast off. Let's go. Number 10. Fresh produce and certain meats when you cross a border. This is the most "but come on" item on the list. You're not smuggling weapons, you're smuggling an orange, or a bunch of bananas, or that pack of chicken you forgot in the freezer. Biosecurity law does not care about your intentions. It cares about pests and diseases hitching a ride. Fruit flies, plant pathogens, animal disease. One contaminated piece of produce can mess up an entire region's agriculture and ecosystem. That's why customs treats food like a risk category, not a snack. How boaters get nailed. Boats are floating pantries. You can have a week of groceries aboard without thinking, "I'm importing goods." You clear in, you answer the questions, and then they ask the one that catches people, "Any fruits, vegetables, or meats?" The boater says no because they forgot about the limes in the cooler. Then inspection finds them. Now it's not about the limes, it's about failure to declare. And failure to declare is what turns a normal moment into a real penalty. Declaring is you being honest. Not declaring looks like you tried to hide it, even if you didn't. What to do? Assume fresh produce is guilty until proven innocent when you're crossing a border. Declare everything. If it's allowed, you keep it. If it's not, they take it. Annoying, but survivable. Here's the simple system. Have a border day. The day before arrival, you eat the fresh stuff down. You cook it, you juice it, you make a ridiculous salad, you get it off the boat. Then you arrive with shelf-stable food that nobody cares about. And yes, this includes the "I only have 2 tomatoes" logic. It's not about quantity, it's about category. Number 9. Flare guns and signal pistols in the wrong country or undeclared. This mistake starts as a safety purchase. You buy a flare gun for just in case. At home, it's normal. Then you sail somewhere else and suddenly you're carrying something that looks like a firearm stored in a locker with ammo. Some countries treat it as a weapon. Some require immediate declaration. Some will confiscate it. In the worst case, you're dealing with a weapons charge while you're just trying to anchor and buy groceries. How people get caught? Customs opens a locker, sees a pistol-shaped object, and the conversation instantly changes tone. You feel it immediately. The vibe goes from welcome to stand over there. And here's the psychological trap. Boaters try to be casual about it. They say, "It's not a real gun," but you're not arguing with your buddy. You're arguing with a legal system that has a category called weapon, and your item fits the shape. What to do? If you cruise internationally, the simplest move is to avoid flare guns and use legal alternatives. Approved electronic distress lights where allowed, plus the required daytime distress flag, plus an EPIRB or PLB if you go offshore. If you insist on a flare gun, research each destination and declare it immediately. Not later, not if asked twice, immediately. Number 8. Old-school carbureted 2-stroke outboards in restricted waterways. This is less federal crime and more local enforcement with zero patience. In 2025, there are still lakes and reservoirs that ban older, high-emission two-strokes. The target is the classic carbureted engines that dump unburned fuel and fail modern emission standards. Boaters get trapped because the engine runs fine. It starts easy, it's lightweight, it's cheap, and nobody told them certain lakes basically treated like contraband. How people get caught? Rangers and local enforcement check engine labels. Sometimes it's as simple as, that motor is smoking, and you get waved in for a look. And once they're looking, it's not a discussion. It's allowed or not allowed. What to do? Before you trailer to a new lake, check the specific water body rules, not just state rules. The rule isn't two strokes are evil. The rule is this water body has a list. And if you're buying a tender motor for a mixed-use lifestyle, think ahead. A modern compliant outboard costs more up front, but it doesn't trap you in one category of water. Number 7, the wrong fishing hooks and the missing release devices. If you fish, 2025 is the era of gear-based enforcement. It's not just what you caught,
It's what you're using and whether you're equipped to release fish alive. In a lot of striped bass areas, using the wrong hook with natural bait is a violation because gut hooking kills fish. Regulations often require non-offset circle hooks for bait fishing for certain species. And in some federal reef fisheries, you're required to have a descending device or venting tool on board and ready to use. Not somewhere, ready. How boaters get caught? Boardings while actively fishing. If you've got bait in the water and you're in an area where a specific gear rule applies, the rig is the evidence. They don't need your confession, they need your setup. And people get burned because they mix tackle. They keep a normal J-hook rig tied on just in case, then they forget it's the one that's deployed when an officer pulls alongside. What to do? Keep a small compliance kit on the boat that is separate from your regular tackle box. Legal circle hooks, the correct non-stainless rules where they apply. Your descending device assembled, not in plastic packaging. And if you fish in more than one region, label the kits. Atlantic bait rules, Gulf reef rules. It's a $10 fix that saves you a $100 headache or worse. Number 6, plastic discharge, and in some places, even certain single-use plastics on board. 2 problems. First, discharge. Internationally, plastic overboard is a hard no, everywhere, no exceptions. Zip ties, fishing line, snack wrappers, the cut end of a synthetic rope, if it's plastic, it stays on the boat. And accidental doesn't feel accidental if you're the person who cut the zip tie and let the end flick into the water. That's why the standard best practice is simple. Keep a small trash bag in the cockpit. You cut, you toss, you move on. Second, possession and import bans. In some cruising destinations, single-use plastic bags, styrofoam containers, and disposable cutlery are restricted or banned. That means you can get items confiscated or fined simply for bringing the wrong stuff in. It's the same logic as the fruit rule. I bought it somewhere else doesn't matter when you're importing it. What to do? Convert your boat to reusables. Containers, cloth bags, refillable bottles, real cutlery. It's cleaner, it looks better, and it makes you immune to half the plastic drama zones. And a quiet bonus, a reusable setup also makes your boat feel less chaotic. Less trash, less smell, less why is my cockpit full of wrappers. Number 5, a lithium battery upgrade that isn't compliant, documented, or insurable. This is the big 2025 constructive illegality category. Lithium is amazing when it's engineered correctly. It's also a fire and liability nightmare when it's done like a weekend DIY project with random parts.
In 2025, a lot of insurers and surveyors treat non-compliant lithium installs like a hard stop. That means you can end up with a boat that technically floats and runs but can't get insured. And if you can't get insured, many marinas won't let you dock, many yards won't haul you, and many lenders won't finance you. So what makes it illegal in real life? It's not a cop writing you a ticket for lithium. It's the ecosystem refusing to let you operate unless you comply. That's constructive prohibition. Common red flags. Drop-in lithium with no real battery management strategy. Charging sources that can't be controlled safely, especially alternators. No proper fusing, cable sizing, or documentation. A system that can suddenly disconnect under load and damage charging equipment. No clear labeling, no schematics, and no way for the next owner to understand it. How boaters get caught? Not usually by the Coast Guard. You get caught when you try to insure, sell, finance, renew, or even switch marinas. The moment someone asks for a survey and photos of the install, the "I saw it on YouTube" approach collapses. And here's the cruel part. The system might work perfectly day to day. That doesn't matter. Safety standards care about fault conditions. What happens when something fails, overheats, or shorts? That's where compliance lives. What to do? Treat lithium like aviation. Design it, document it, build it to a recognized standard. If you already have lithium and you're unsure, get a qualified marine electrical person to inspect it and produce a written report. That one report turns sketchy DIY into verified system, and that's the difference between getting coverage and getting denied. Number 4. Marijuana on navigable waters and the CBD test problem. This is where state law tricks people. On land, cannabis can be legal in your state. On the water, federal jurisdiction can apply, and the Coast Guard enforces federal law. That means the "but it's legal here" argument can fail instantly. And CBD is the sneakier trap. Some CBD products contain trace THC. Field tests don't care about your label, your receipt, or your intentions. If something tests positive, you're suddenly in a legal situation you never wanted. The other trap is boating under the influence. Even if your local culture treats weed as chill, impairment on the water is a huge enforcement priority. Boats hit things, people fall overboard, and the consequences are worse offshore than on a sidewalk. What to do? If you want zero drama, don't carry it on the boat, especially not if you travel internationally, charter, or keep your boat in a strict marina. It's not a moral statement, it's a risk management statement. Your boat is expensive.
Don't gamble it on something that provides, at best, a mild vibe. Number 3. Chlorinated solvents and the brake cleaner in the engine locker problem. Boaters love aerosol cleaners because they work. Brake cleaner, contact cleaner, heavy degreasers. The issue is that some of these products contain chemicals that have been heavily restricted or phased out from many consumer uses, and using them around water creates environmental exposure risk. Even if the law is focused on manufacturing and distribution, the practical enforcement risk for boaters is discharge and spill. One sloppy spray, one rinse, one oily rag that goes overboard, and now you've created an environmental incident. And marinas and yards have gotten stricter because they don't want to be the place where the spill happened. It's not personal, it's liability. What to do? Switch to marine-safe, biodegradable cleaners and degreasers. Use drip trays. Wipe first, then clean. Store chemicals sealed and contained. And if you're the person who keeps a chemical drawer, make it a sealed bin. The sea will eventually turn every loose bottle into a leak. Number 2. Expired flares and the electronic flare day signal trap. Pyrotechnic flares expire. When they're expired, they don't count towards your required safety gear. In 2025, a huge number of boaters are unknowingly carrying expired flares because they bought them, tossed them in a locker, and never looked again. Then there's the electronic flare shift. Approved electronic distress devices can cover your night signal requirement, but in many cases you still need a daytime signal too. Often that means the orange distress flag. So you end up with a boater who says, "I have an electronic flare," and the officer says, "Cool, where's your day signal?" And people get salty because it feels picky. But the logic is simple. A bright strobe at night is not the same as a high-contrast flag in daylight. The rule exists because the physics of visibility are different. What to do? If you carry pyrotechnics, check dates now. If you switch to electronic, confirm it's approved for your jurisdiction and pair it with the required day signal. And don't keep expired pyrotechnics aboard as backups if your marina treats them as a storage hazard. Old explosives in a damp locker are not a backup plan, they're a liability. Number 1. Expired or non-compliant fire extinguishers and the "looks fine" lie. This is the number 1 silent fail in 2025. Because an extinguisher can look perfect, gauge in the green, mounted properly, right where it's supposed to be, and still illegal. Disposable extinguishers have a hard expiration window. Past that, they are not compliant as required equipment, and the powder inside can brick over time.
So the gauge can read green, but when you squeeze the handle, nothing comes out. That's why date stamps matter more than vibes. Then there's the rating standard issue.
A lot of people reuse an older extinguisher from a previous boat or buy a random one that looks similar and assume it counts. But newer requirements focus on performance labels and correct ratings for your boat's category and model year. The officer doesn't want your story. They want the correct label and the correct number of units. And finally, the fixed engine room system trap. The system is installed, but the safety pin is left in maintenance mode after service. That means the system can't fire when you need it. In 2025, that's treated as inoperable safety equipment. And if you've ever seen an engine room fire, you understand why this is non-negotiable. What to do? Do a yearly inspector walk. Check dates and ratings. Replace anything expired. Don't keep it mounted as a confusing fake backup. If you have a fixed system, verify it's armed and ready, and verify the remote pull is correct. And do one more thing. Actually practice finding your extinguishers with your eyes closed. In a real fire, you don't get a calm moment to remember where it is. Now, quick bonus section. 3 honorable mentions that aren't always criminal but are increasingly treated as deal breakers. Honorable mention A. Gate valves below the waterline. Surveyors flag them, insurers hate them. If you have one, plan to replace it with proper marine-rated hardware at the next haul-out. It's boring work that prevents dramatic sinking. Honorable mention B. Cheap plastic fittings below the waterline. Reinforced marine polymers can be fine. Hardware store plastic below the waterline is a liability. If you see white, brittle plastic where seawater can touch it, assume it's a future failure. Honorable mention C. Toxic sunscreen in certain destinations. Some places restrict specific ingredients to protect reefs. Mineral sunscreen is the easy move, and it's one less thing to worry about when you clear in. Okay, here's the 5-minute compliance sweep you can do today. Step 1. Safety locker. Check extinguisher dates and ratings. Check the fixed system pin if you have one. Step 2. Distress signals. Check flare dates or confirm your electronic device plus day flag. Step 3. Engine locker. Get rid of sketchy solvents and store chemicals properly. Step 4. Lithium installs. If it's DIY and undocumented, get it inspected and documented. Step 5. Border travel. Declare all food and don't gamble your trip on a lime. And if you fish, keep a region-specific legal rig kit on the boat.
If you want a follow-up, tell me where you boat. Florida, Great Lakes, Pacific Northwest, Caribbean, Med, and I'll do a local list of the exact items that get people cited in that zone, plus the cheapest way to fix them. Fair winds, and may your boat be boring in the best possible way.